We've all been there, right? That constant tug of war in your head between sticking with what's comfortable and actually pushing yourself to grow. Well, today we're going to pop the hood and really look at the deep biological reasons why your brain's default setting is comfort and what that actually means when you're trying to make a real change in your life.
I mean, it's such a familiar feeling. You set a goal, you map out the perfect plan, but when it's go time, something just slams on the brakes. You're not imagining it. You are in a very real biological fight with the exact same organ that came up with the plan in the first place. And this gets us to what you could call the comfort zone paradox. It's this strange human habit of clinging to what we know, even when we're fully aware that everything we want, real growth, real opportunity, is waiting for us just outside that bubble. Now, this is maybe the most important thing to get straight right away. That resistance you feel, it is not laziness. It is not a lack of willpower. It's actually a highly sophisticated survival strategy, something that's been fine-tuned over millions of years with one single overriding purpose: keep you alive.
Okay, so let's start peeling back the layers here. This battle is basically happening between two totally different systems in your brain. You've got the ancient part that just feels and reacts, and then you have the more modern part that thinks and plans. The thing is, one of them has a massive head start.
So on one side, you've got the amygdala. Think of it as your ancient, lightning-fast threat detector. Its only job is to scan the environment for danger and keep you safe. Then on the other side, you've got the prefrontal cortex, the modern, rational CEO of your brain. It's in charge of goals and logic and thinking ahead, but it is much, much slower. And that speed difference is what creates something called an amygdala hijack. See, when your amygdala senses a threat, and believe me, to an ancient brain, the uncertainty of growth feels like a major threat. It just floods your system with stress hormones. It effectively shuts down your rational prefrontal cortex before it even has a chance to say anything. And here's literally how it happens inside your skull. All the information coming in from your senses hits a little relay station called the thalamus. From there, the signal splits. The low road is like a direct superhighway straight to the amygdala for an instant, is this going to kill me check. The high road is a much slower, more scenic route up to the prefrontal cortex for careful analysis. And in the race to respond, that fast, emotional low road wins. Every single time. Your body is already reacting before you've even consciously figured out why. But it's not just about fear. There's an even more fundamental reason your brain fights change. And it all comes down to one thing: energy. You see, your brain is operating on a surprisingly tight energy budget.
I mean, just look at this number. For an organ that makes up a tiny 2% of your body weight, your brain is an absolute energy hog. It demands a full 20% of your body's energy when you're just sitting there. It simply cannot afford to be wasteful. And as you're about to see, growth is anything but energy efficient.
And this might sound kind of abstract, but the energy cost of learning is brutally real. There was a study on fruit flies that showed the simple act of forming new memories had a measurable survival cost. When they cut off the food supply, the flies that had learned a new task died way earlier, basically because their energy reserves were already used up. Honestly, this is the best way to picture the energy trade-off. All your existing habits and skills, they're like paved 8-lane neural highways. They are super energy efficient. But trying to build a new habit or learn something new, that's like taking a machete and having to hack a brand new path through a dense, tangled jungle. It is structurally demanding and metabolically exhausting for your brain.
So, we've got the brain's built-in alarm system and its tight energy budget. But underneath all of that is the deepest, most fundamental rule governing its behavior: the absolute, non-negotiable law of equilibrium. And that law is called homeostasis. It's the process your body uses to keep everything, your temperature, your blood sugar, everything in a very narrow, stable range. Its entire job is to cancel out anything that threatens the existing balance. And, well, by its very definition, personal growth is a massive threat to the status quo.
And this drive for balance applies to literally everything. We totally get it for physical things, right? If your body temperature or blood sugar get too far out of whack, it's a life-threatening emergency. But here's the kicker. Your brain applies that exact same principle to information itself. Just look at that last row. Your brain treats prediction error, or in plain English surprise, as a threat to its stability, just like it would treat a fever. It craves informational stability. It wants to know exactly what's coming next. So this really brings it all together. Your brain's ultimate goal isn't happiness or success, it's to minimize surprise. That's it. To your brain, unpredictability equals danger, and danger is a massive waste of precious energy. So the comfort zone, with its perfect, boring predictability, is the most stable, low surprise, and energy efficient state it can possibly be in. It is the biological definition of safety.
Okay, so now that we get the deep biological reasons our brains are wired this way, the big question is, what on earth do we do about it? And the answer isn't to fight your brain's nature. It's to learn how to work with it, to negotiate. So here are 3 simple brain-aware strategies. First, you have to signal safety. Slow, deep breaths literally tell your amygdala, hey, we're not being chased by a tiger, which keeps your rational brain online. Second, you have to respect the metabolic cost. Break those huge goals down into tiny, almost laughably small steps so you don't trigger that energy threat alarm. And finally, change how you think about mistakes. When you start treating errors as useful data instead of a threat, you minimize that surprise factor that your brain hates, and you actually allow it to learn. At the end of the day, trying to force change is like trying to push a river uphill. It's exhausting, and it's just not going to work. The real key here is to negotiate. You have to understand what your ancient brain wiring needs: safety, predictability, energy efficiency, and then find a way to move toward growth that honors those needs. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. Knowing everything we've just talked about, knowing that your brain craves safety above all else, what's one small, non-threatening, undeniably safe step you can take today, right now, in the direction of the growth you actually want?